Hi, this is Rayni Peavy for Start Marriage Right. You know, a difficulty for many couples is learning how to handle conflict in their relationship. Some of us grow up learning how to do this well and others don't. And most of us don't want to disrespect our spouse, but when we have unresolved issues, emotional wounds, maybe unhealthy role modeling from adults as we're growing up, we can learn from a young age bad relationship skills. But the good news is that we can learn new and healthy relationship and communication skills, and when we're in Christ, He'll transform us from the inside out and make us more and more like Himself, which is very encouraging, isn't it? So, what biblical values are there to consider when we deal with conflict in our marriages? A couple of scriptures come to mind that I want to read to you. The first is Ephesians 4:29, 31 through 32. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. And also Colossians 3:12 through 14. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other, and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Now, these scriptures give a great list of biblical values for any relationship, and especially for a marriage. Just listen to some of these awesome words: love, patience, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, gentleness, humility, making sure that what we're saying is building up, not tearing down, using the model of Jesus' forgiveness on how we should forgive wholly and completely, bearing with one another, having patience, getting rid of all the things that are opposite to these healthy values, getting rid of bitterness, rage, slander, malice. Now also I want to share from Ephesians 5, it says that in a marriage, to submit to one another out of reverence for Christ, for husbands to love your wife just as Christ loved the church, and for the wife to respect your husband. But in the day-to-day, how do you live these out when there's a conflict? Here are some suggestions. Learning to communicate in a healthy way is the key here. So decide ahead of time that you and your spouse are a team coming together to work through an issue. It's not about he says, she says, your side, your spouse's side. You're coming together to tackle an issue head on. You're a team. And always choose respect. Resist yelling, calling each other names, bringing up past grievances. Remember to treat your spouse the way that you want to be treated. Also, be open to speaking truth into your spouse's life in a loving and honest way, and be open to them speaking truth into your life as well. And whenever your spouse is talking, listen. Give them a chance to speak, and really value and honor them by listening to what they have to say. Also, just a practical tip, try to avoid talking about serious issues when you're tired and cranky, hungry, when you've just gotten home from work and you're feeling kind of stressed out. Also, one great tip that I learned several years ago is to make an appointment with your spouse. Maybe on a Monday you say, hey, I really want to talk about the issues that are going on in our finances on Thursday at 7 when we're both chilled out a little bit, home from work, relaxed. That way you and your spouse both know the topic you're going to talk about, the time you're going to talk about it, and you can both be praying and thinking about what you want to say. That way you have a time is set, and you don't just drop a bomb on your spouse when they least expect it. That doesn't make for a good evening usually. And also be willing to get counsel when necessary. It's okay to have issues to work through, and sometimes you need a godly counselor to help you work through them. It's a good thing to get counseling when you need it. Become as emotionally healthy as you can be. This means getting to the root cause of any unhealthy communication styles, unhealthy lifestyle choices, unhealthy coping mechanisms, so you can replace those with healthy and mature ways to live. And not only do you want to treat your spouse well just for the sake of caring for them, but remember that you're an example to other Christians, to your children, to non-believers, about what it means to love your spouse in a way that honors God. Now, even if you and your spouse aren't the best communicators, you can learn to communicate well. Good communication is a learned skill, so that should bring hope for all of us. Now, also remember that none of us are perfect. Give yourself and your spouse grace as you're learning to communicate and growing in healthy communication. Have a great week.